Good morning. According to the link that I sent to you guys, I told you that I'm going to be taking you a very important topic to round up with React, and I call it what is it called? Form data and how to use fetch function to connect with API. In fact, by the time you get to this level, you're already uh, at the professional level of React. The reason why I say that is that you always need a form. Thank God you did form in HTML in order to communicate with your user. Imagine a user that wants to log in must definitely input his email or his password here. So when you go to a lot of sectors, real life projects, there is no way you will not deal with what? With form. You understand? Look at this now. Become a responder. You see that all you are still seeing here is a what? Is a form. Are you following? All you are still seeing here is a form. So now let me go back to this possibly client login and showcase one or two things before I proceed. So now what you are seeing actually here is actually a form data. So that means I'll put my email, and by the time I put my password, I'm able to log into my what? To my client dashboard. That is not really where I'm going, and that's not really the major thing I want to take you. But the major thing I wanted to know is that how to apply all these forms to your React project. You understand? Even though the form is for front end. Is that severe? Even though the form, who is there? Okay, even though the form is for what? Is for the front end. So your back end, is either you use your PHP or you use your Python or you use your any other programming language. Is that clear? So now let's go to the major parts so that one of my method of teaching is that I will use a real life example and I will explain each line of code that will help you to really understand how to implement what form into your what your React project. Don't forget React is basically for front end. So now as you can see now this is a front end part. So how do we do that? I did a simple one here. So I'll be explaining it line by line, and I'm even sure that you can follow me up because of what I've told you in some. I said the first thing is what you use clients. You should know the meaning of use client. Before you use client, if at most pages, we always use it. Any page that you know that you need to click, or you need state, or you need events. When you're talking about events, I'm talking about what? About whatever you actually do on your screen or on your system. For example, now if I click now, is actually on click. We have on double click, on change. All those things, they are what? They are event attributes. Most of the IDs, what I mean by ID, like Visual Studio Code, like Dreamweaver, whatever ID you are using, it will always give you all the what? All the events is also available in your what? In your normal HTML, CSS, yeah, in your normal HTML and the likes. So now, thank God we use client. The next thing is what you import. Use state. Anytime you want to use state, you must import it. Use state from what? From React. So the fact that you are saying use state means that we will use what? State. And I think in the last two videos, I explained very well how to use state. And even in the last class, I'm still telling you the different type of state that we have. Even from that, I told you how to what? Use the function of a use state. So in which we will still revise it again in this class. Now, don't forget that I want to build a login page. You understand? Or whatever you want to build. So that's why I just call it simple form. And a principle in React, which is very important, is what? You declare your function. whatever page you are building. Even when you are still building your what? Your component, you still declare a what? A function. Because maybe you want to use this particular page, so it will be easy. So now I will use export default function simple form. So if it is a login form, I'll just call it what? Login what? Form. Are you following? Now, after you declare your function name, the next thing is what? Open your Colibris and you close your what? Your Colibris. Are you following? Now, let's go back. After that, I've always told you the next thing is that you start declaring your states. You start what? Declaring your states. And I gave you different examples in the last class, and that's why I'll use this first because this is the I want to make sure that you know the two, so that in case you are seeing it like this, you will know that it's the same thing as when you are seeing it like this. I know what I told you is something like this. I say const name comma set name equals use state. Use state at the right operand is actually constant. You always use state. Am I right? But the one at the left operand, I actually explained it. I said the first one before the what? Before the comma is what? Is your variable name. It's just like you're saying x equals 10. So yeah, because you will need, why do you need to do this? Because you want to build a form that has name, price, and what? And message. Are you following? That means for each of the form, you must create a what? A state for it. Are you getting me? For example, now, if it's in this case now, let me show you. In this my app, in this case, I will not need it to be three. I only need two. So that means I'll create one for what? For email and create the other one for what? For password. So if your forms are up to 10, that means you create state for each of them. Are you following? So let me go back to my code that I'm using. So this one, even this one, let me show you where I used it in one of my projects. Let me log in as, okay, let me log in as responder. Okay, this is the responder end. You might not understand my project, but don't worry, just understand what I'm taking you. Now, on a norms, this contractor, you understand? Because you see that, because at the client end, they will request for a contract. But at the what is it called? At the responder end, that is the skill worker that will do it. The person has sent estimation. That's why you are seeing edit. So when I click on edit, can you see? I can put price, I can put message and breakdown. Do you understand? So that's why you are seeing me that my own is somehow familiar with this name, price, message. Do you understand? So now the major thing is that number of your form will determine the number of your what? Of your state. So I said name. So this set name is what? The function that will what? That will be updating the what? The name. Are you following? Why the use state is constant? The same thing for price, but why doing it separately? You can combine it. That's why I did it like this. I can what? I can combine it. This is more professional. How? I know that even though I have 10 forms, you understand? Name, surname, blah, 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 blah. I will just call it const form. Everything is form. I will set form, which is the function, and I what? I will use state. Can you tell me if this is how I will know if you're actually following my classes? I told you that anytime you are using Colibris inside the use state, that means it's an object state. When you are using square bracket, is an array state. When you are using integer, is a number state. When you are using force, maybe I told you that normally this is the starting point. This is the what? The starting point. For example, now if I just put zero now, I will know that the initial value is what? Zero. Anytime I use string, this is what? Anytime you see quote in programming, you are talking about string. So this is a what? This is a string state. When you use square bracket is an array state. But let me leave that. Let me go back to this place. So this is an object state. And I will just state all the form. One is for name. The second one is for price. And the third one is for message. Instead of doing it separately here, I just did it together here. Are you following? Now, after that, all these things as what they are doing. This is where I declared my state. Now, this one is what? Is for what? For undo. Let me comment it. For undo what? Change. Now, what is the meaning of undo change? Undo change means that, in a form, I will type something. Initially, the default state is empty. That's what it's empty. So as I'm typing, that undo change is the one that is updating the what? The state. That, oh, they put something there, will quickly store it. They put another thing there, store it. They put another thing there, store it. Do you now know the meaning of what? Of undo what? Change. So that's why they declare it as a what? As a variable. But even before I go to this one, I'm still coming back. I'm still coming back. Don't worry. So that you not look confused. Let me go and show you the form, because I know a lot of you now, you are thinking that, I don't even understand what this person is saying. I've not even seen the form. Let me go and show you. It's at the down part. How do you know? Anytime you use return, I've emphasized this severally. Return, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Immediately, everything that is inside will look exactly like your normal HTML. Can you see return, pam, pam, and I start a form. And I know every one of you must understand this. Input type test. Now, note something. Anytime that your React want to store something, it must be inside name. So this name attribute is very, very important. The placeholder, your name, the value. I know you know the meaning of input type test. That is a test feed. Abi, name equals name. Don't worry, you know the meaning. Placeholder, so that you put your name, so that the person will see something faded at the background of that test feed. Then value. What is the meaning of this value? Value. Look at me. I said form.name. I love this. This is where your what? Your form, that is your field, your test field, connect back to your state. How? Let me prove it. What is the meaning of value? Normally, when you're writing HTML, when you wrote value, for example, now, if I actually write a code for a test feed and I say value equals 50, that means they will see 50 inside that test feed. Do you know that? Yeah, they will see 50 inside the test feed. Okay, let me prove it. Let me prove it. Let me look for my login front end. Okay, this is my login front end. Let me scroll down to what you are familiar with. Can you see? This is the email you are seeing on my own page. Okay, so now value. Let me remove this rubbish. And let me just say value equals 50. You see what will happen now? 50. Let me save. And let me go back. It's actually compiling the page. So just wait for it. Compiling it. That's one thing about React. Let me refresh. Can you see? I love this. Do you see that by default, value equals 50? But please, is it 50 that I wanted? When you say value equals 50, that means you've actually make it what? A constant. You make it definite, but it does not make a sense. Anybody in the whole world can come here and put their email and what? And password. But I don't want it to be like that. So let's now see what I did. What I did is what? Go and look up. You will see that my state is form data. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Can you see? Const form data. That's my state. So my state is form data. So that form data now, so that's why I said that's how to connect it back to your what? To your state. And I said, let me see. And I said form data dot what? Email. So let's go back to this one. This one, since my own state, I stored it inside form, the variable is what? form. So my what? My form data, no, my form. I just say form dot what? Dot name. Am I making any sense? Am I making any sense? Now, I know you'll be surprised. Is it that it must always be named? No. The reason is because you are trying to let that state know that Ogbenio, please, this particular value is for what? Is only for name input. That's why name here is what? Name. Look at this one. Name here is what? Price. So I say form dot what? Price. So that's why I said the name attribute really matters. The name here is what? Message. So here I'll say form dot what? Message. I think that part is very clear now. Can you see? So that means that the value which initially accommodate 50 is not accommodating 50 now. What you are indirectly telling computer that is that when anybody goes there, did I save? When anybody goes there, Control X, when anybody goes there, the major thing is that let the person put his email. Immediately you are putting your email, computer is the state is actually storing it. Is that clear? Okay. Now, you could see another attribute on change. This is what we call events. What do I call it? Events. I noticed that in the other end, that earlier I was telling you about what? Undo change. That is, whenever you are putting any new thing inside that test feed, there is a variable that is what? That is doing it. There's a function. That's why this is not a very easy function. How do you know? That's why I told you read up on arrow function. If it is in in normal JavaScript now, we can write our function in a normal way. How? I will say function space function name, open parenthesis, then open curly brace, close curly brace. Then I can now say what I want it to execute. But in this one, this is a what? This is a function that undoes change so that it will update the states. So now the major thing that this one is doing, look at it. You see that you are seeing E. Let me explain what this E does. Hello, let me explain. The meaning of E means what? It means event. What did I call it? Event. Now, let's now go back. Event. So, and what is the meaning of event attribute? This on change, on click. We have different event attributes. Are you following? So now, okay. Something is telling me that I should really show you event attribute very well. I'm coming space. Can you see? Immediately, anytime you put space, the next thing is another property. Can you see that these all these ones are state on click, on Aussie clip, on Aussie clip capture, on double click. There are many like that. So that's the meaning of event. That is, even when you see someone that is dragging on the screen, it's also an event. When someone is on the screen on a phone, is an what? They are all events. So this on change is what is just like an action that anybody does. Like when you actually type anything there, it it sends it back to the what? To the state. So that's why there is a function here that I call what? That I called handle what? Change. How do you know that it's handling any change? Let me explain what it's trying to say. It's trying to tell computer that set form, that is e dot target dot name. What is the meaning of the name? I've told you the meaning of the name attribute. Because each of these test field has what? Name. The name for this one is name, the name for this one is price, the name for this one is what? Message. So that computer will not mistake. All of them, they are all form. So this target dot name will make sure that is what? That is specific for each what? Test field or test area. So that it will not mix it. For example, now you will not mix password for email because email has its own as dot what? Dot email. This one has its own as what? Dot password. Am I making any sense? So that's the easy one. Then e target dot value. This value is telling you that whatever the person really input there, and thank God I've told you about value. What is inside value? Form dot name. That is what the state updated. What you update state with, hmm? It should what? Take it. Now, I will say random. Now, that is change. That's undo change. So you see that is this undo change that is in every test bit. Undo change. So that's what undo change does. Undo change says as okay, you put something on that email. I've hold it. I've given it to the state. You put something on that password. I've hold it without mixing it up. That's the meaning. And put it back to the state. Are you following? Lastly, there's one guy that is very important, undo submit. At the end of the day, when I put all these things, SolarX, information, blah, 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 and I put my password, and I click on what? And I click on submit. You would discover that, for me to click on this, normally go and try it in HTML. Anytime you click on any submit form, the page will reload. So any submit task, that is the function that undoes it. And what is the name of this function? Undo submit. Very simple. So can you see that I say an event attribute? Don't you know that the fact that you are clicking on that place is an event attribute? E-any. And he say e dot prevent default. What does e dot prevent default does? What it does simply is that it does not allow a reload of the page. Are you following? It does not allow a reload of the page. So instead of using console.log form, I will now change it to this API. So that's why I will move to my real project where I did the login. You will see what I did. Immediately, let's go and look at my own. When I click on submit, let's go and look at my own undo submit. Can you see? Because it's a real life project. Can you see? Hmm, just tell the person, give me 5 minutes. Can you see that undo is still the same thing? If prevent default, I don't want a reload. Do you understand? The ends of this set loading, set error, so that it can be giving them error as well. Do you understand? Then, then this one set loading that let it load. Now you will see that this one is very important. And that's why, if you notice the class, I told you that I'm going to teach you about form data and fetch. What does fetch does? Fetch is actually a very popular function. They even use it across different programming language. Basically to what? To send something to an API. That is an external source. How? Because this is a front end. Even though I prepared everything I needed to prepare within this place, it's not React that will help me submit it to the database. Like in this case, I use PHP. So that means I have my separate PHP code. So it's inside PHP that I'll be using. Fine, the reason why I'm not going into this is I've not touched about PHP. That's when I'll be using it. If you put login, if you not put login, let it say that there's an error. If it's correct with what is in the database, let it now proceed to the what? To the login. So I have my separate login what script for PHP. But the only way you connect them together is through what? Fetch function. And what do? You just put the what? The location of the what? The location of the PHP code. Like now, my own is inside AndyMat API. Let me go and prove it to you. And what is the name of the script? Login.php. Can you see? So let's go and locate it. That's just the meaning. Bam. So, and the interesting is that it can fetch both locally. This one is still on my laptop. I've not put it online. Even if it is on the server, maybe I want to get Google Map. I'll show you some different examples. Is this the fetch? So let me see my one. Can you see? AndyMat API. So let's see. Login.php. Exactly. So it's a very interesting topic. Okay, let me prove it. For example, now in this project, okay, let me log into my responder. You will see that, okay, it's because, don't disturb me. I don't have any work on ground. Okay, let me just show you one and random. Let me just show you one. How? Let me log in and possibly let me request a service. Request service. I'm rounding up, don't worry. Just want to show you an example. Okay, maybe the service I want to request is this renovation service. Maybe it's this renovation service. Ẹ pè mí padà, ẹ pè mí padà, ẹ pè mí padà. Maybe after be 4 minutes. Yeah. Okay, sorry, it's rendering. Just want to do that so that you understand. So it's not Fresh is not limited to your internal or your local project only. You can need anything anywhere in the whole world. You just go and fetch it. Oh, maybe you needed BVN from CBN. They will just give you their URL, then you fetch it from there. Look at this now. Let me quickly fill it. Address, number. You could see that it's giving me suggestion here. Number. Yeah. Okay. Normally, it's supposed to give me. There's something I'm waiting for, but it's not. It's supposed. I don't know why. Let me refresh the page. I don't know why Google is not giving me their map. Okay, can you see that's giving me number one because that's how because there will need map Yanagbala. Okay, this is a client that needed someone to come and do renovation for her or him. I'll click the date, the time that I want the person to come, then it will continue. Then from there, okay, it will confirm booking. Now, after I click on confirm booking, that means, okay, let me go back to the dashboard. So now let's now go to the responder now. So responder will definitely see this. Can you see? The responder has seen this request. So I will accept the job as responder. There's a pattern I'm trying to show you. Just wait. Okay, job accepted. Can you see that you can see a map? So don't be surprised that how is this map coming? Are you getting me? Don't be surprised that how is this what map actually coming? Is still through what? Through API. Do you understand? So whatever you need, you just use that fetch function. I'm trying to prove the fetch function. Let me see if I will show you where I used it. So there's nothing that is really difficult. Let me see. I'm coming. Okay, I need Google Map. Okay. Okay, I think it should be under. I want to show you where I put the code. Okay, layout. Can you see? Can you see where I put the what? The code. Okay. Like the method I use there is a little bit different, but there are some other place that I use. You can also use fetch. You understand? That's what I'm actually saying. You can also, but I didn't use fetch here. Maybe it's in another project. You can use fetch or this. So without wasting any much time, please take your time to go through the video and try and implement it. And I can assure you that you'll be able to do the same as well. Thank you.